What is something crazy that you used to believe when you were younger that you're embarrassed you ever believed was true in the first place?
So funny story, when I was a kid up until I was about 19, I used to believe that everything in the universe, every galaxy and star and planet, and everything and everyone on our planet that's ever existed and ever will exist was created in just under a week by this invisible guy that loves everyone and who was perfect and who could do anything and who knew everything and who was everywhere, but who needed to take a break after 6 days of creating. Anyway, I used to believe that he created humans by originally making a man out of some dust and then making a woman out of one of the man's bones. And that he gave them an idyllic garden paradise in Iraq to live in, but then he had to kick them out of it and put a generational curse on them and their children until the end of time because they were tricked by a talking snake into eating a pomegranate from a tree that this invisible guy that loves everyone put in the center of the garden. I also used to believe that about 1,500 years after that, he told a guy who was hundreds of years old to build a giant wooden boat and put his family and two of every species of animal on the planet on, including the species that were separated by oceans like kangaroos and penguins and raccoons, so that they could all inbreed and repopulate the planet after the invisible guy that loves everyone killed everyone by flooding the planet with more water than the planet's ever had on it. Then, about 2,000 years after that stuff, I believe that the invisible guy that loves everyone decided to impregnate a teenage virgin with his son that he intended to be a human sacrifice so that he can make a way to forgive everyone for the generational curse that he chose to put on those two people thousands of years ago, and that this son was also partly the dad in some weird way, and that this son dad ended up coming back to life after getting sacrificed after spending like a weekend dead. I also used to believe that the only way to accept this forgiveness that the invisible guy who loves everyone put forward was to live in the way that the zombie son and his dad's self and his other weird third ghost self wanted you to live, and to be convinced that the story was true. I used to believe that if you believed these things that you would get to spend forever worshiping the dad guy and the son guy and the ghost guy after you died on Earth. And if you didn't, then you got to spend forever getting burned and tortured by this invisible guy's arch nemesis and his goons along with all the murderers and rapists and other bad people. Oh yeah, and I also used to think that cats and dogs naturally hated each other until I was like 12.